Hi there. Welcome to another Oris release. I have Mark from Oris, and today we'll be featuring the new Aquis Pro Calibre 400. So what's unique about this piece is that the case uses titanium, and although the case is slightly bigger, it's a 49.5. When you actually wear it, it doesn't really feel as big as it looks. But I'll have Mark highlight the key features on this beautiful piece. So, Mark,
Hey,
welcome.
Alex, thanks for having me again. Always a pleasure to do these with you. And let's jump right into the watch. Let's get down to the nitty gritty here. So I'm basically going to take over your screen and we're going to go over a few details. So like Alex mentioned, we're talking about the Aquis Pro. There was a rebranding on the Pro Diver family. It's kind of merging into the Aquis family, hence the name Aquis Pro. And you are looking at a watch that, like Alex said, 49.5 millimeters on the case size, but it does wear a little bit smaller. The reason for that is that the lug distance has been shortened and it's really meant to wear a little bit higher up on the wrist. And you're just looking, like we said, a titanium piece with DLC coating, so extra resistance on that coating, ultra light. And it is a date version where the last few pro divers have either been a GMT or a chronograph. You'll notice that it did keep that DNA of having the wave dial, a very cool contrast on that watch. And for a 49.5, like Alex mentioned, it does wear smaller, but at the end of the day, it is still a 49.5. So it is a big watch, but the black of it also makes it look smaller on the wrist. Regular full case back. The reason for that is we're talking about 100 bars water resistance, so 1,000 meters. And this is still a model that was designed with saturation divers and bell divers. One of the key features of this piece is this bezel that has the rotation safety system. You're able to pop it up, put your count on and lock it into place. That way you have the reassurance of knowing nothing happened to your count while you're underwater. And on the opposite side of the case, you also have a helium valve releasing the negative gases that could accumulate inside of the timepiece. The Loom is actually really bright on this watch. I don't know if you had the opportunity to have a look, Alex. Even without being in the dark and transitioning into where I lived the other day, I was just staring at the watch. I was like, wow, this really pops. The Loom's great on it. Definitely a legible piece. It's kind of hard not being a legible watch when you're a 49.5 millimeter. And then for the overall look, it does come on a rubber strap. Also has the sliding adjustment for wetsuit adjustment, or if you just want to adjust it quickly on your wrist. And it does have the lock at the end of the strap. So if you are doing an adjustment, it just doesn't slide off your wrist. Like I said, this is the aesthetics. This is what's outside of this timepiece. Where it is a little bit different than the other pro divers is we're not talking about a Salida movement. We're talking about the Calibre 400. So once again, same thing as the watch we released late last year. 5-day power reserve, 10-year warranty, anti-magnetic. When we talk about anti-magnetism, we're talking usually about ISO 784, where they test the watch. The Calibre 400 is known to be 10 times more anti-magnetic than the abbreviation to be an anti-magnetic timepiece. So a lot of that is being put back in. And for a watch that is as professional, as sturdy, and meant to go everywhere, I think the Calibre 400 really lends to this piece and adds a mystique to it and makes it more of a tank at the end of the day.
The only thing I have to say is that the bracelet they're not using the pin adjustments where you can actually just switch the bracelet really easily. They're still using the screw on this one. Why is that?
For the time being, that adjustment that you're talking about was only on the Aquis 43.5 Calibre 400. It's not something that's become widespread across the whole collection. I think no real news has been given to us about this, but I think you're likely going to see those types of little features pop up more on the Calibre 400 side, more on the Aquis for now. It doesn't mean that it won't happen, but also one of the logical reasons for this, pretty simple. We have never done a black coated PVD or DLC coated bracelet.
Right.
which either titanium, metal, whatever steel that you want to work with. I think that might be the main reason why they didn't do it on this one. And for the time being, still has yet to be confirmed, but I think the black rubber will be the only rubber strap compatible to this case.
Oh,
There
okay.
was a Pro Diver Dive Control chronograph that came out with the yellow rubber strap last year, but it's a whole different case number. So maybe that those pins won't align with the new strap. Generally, we find this out probably in the next few weeks. So um, multiple straps tend to be something 3 to 4 weeks after release. We find out a bit more or what's compatible, but just the fact that this is a new case number, I'd be led to believe that the black is the only option right now. So if there's only one option for it, it kind of eliminates the need to have that that quick change possibility.
Okay. So I know it's it just released, I think, a couple of days ago,
The
uh,
seventh.
the 7th. It is a very solid watch. It's great for those that are really serious about diving. Um, the price would be a little bit higher because of the in-house movement.
Correct.
I believe it's how much is it?
It's 5,900 Canadian.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's still it's still a great piece. You know, it's for the craft of it, it's well worth the money.
I could speak for myself. I did wear the Force Recon in the past. I have worn a Pro Diver Date, and my initial reaction was, am I actually wearing a 49.5 millimeter on my wrist? Because
That
kids
was
are
my
a lot smaller.
I get criticized on having a very small wrist, but you know, I thought this would be a monster on my wrist, but it turns out, I mean, it's still on a bigger side, but it's like I said, it wears a little bit small just because I think it's because of the all black that
Mhm.
makes it a little bit smaller. But you know, for those who do want to come check it out, it's available now at Christine Jewelers, or you can visit our site for more details. For now, thanks again, Mark. I know there is some more watches coming on the way. Uh,
Well, it's not a secret right now. In May, we're probably going to be making, if you're ready to do it, we're probably going to do a video for the Dat Watt limited edition
I'm
and
very looking forward
June
to that watch.
Con Candy. So those are already been introduced to the world. We kind of know the release dates, but I think it'll be interesting to share the specs and a few details about those timepieces on your channel. And there might be a few more surprises sprinkled in between those. So as soon as I have some news that I could share, I'll be in touch, and we'll decide what's best for you. And you tell me what you want to do, and we'll take it from there.
So speaking of the watches and wonder, is that something that Oris will be doing, you know, down the line, where they're going to be introducing new watches virtually?
It was a little bit of a combination of both this year, I think, and this is not coming directly from the top. It's not something that we've been given in a press release and to communicate it that way. I just think that Oris really prides itself in the fact that they are a Swiss brand. Being from Holstein, we're a little bit out of the action into like the watchmaking centers of Switzerland. I think it's important for Oris to kind of keep visibility in those circles and remind everyone that yes, we are an independent company, but we do make one hell of a watch, and we have a right as much as any other brand to show up at those types of events. And unfortunately, we do not know where Basel is going or if there will be a Basel. We just hope that in the future, any type of event like this, that we decide to take the time to do, that it's not exclusive only to, let's say, the blogger side and the retailer side. We really want luxury to be inclusive.
Mhm.
And if we could have consumers there, obviously we'll be a lot happier at the end of the day. But this was kind of what was offered this year and what was available for us to jump on. We'll see what 2021 has in store for us, if there will be a show in Vegas in the future, if we're going to be participating. But I think it made sense to join everybody with the releases that came out last week. And I don't think any brand really revealed their whole deck of cards. So I think we all have a few little surprises up our sleeves that are going to be coming out throughout the year. And I, for one, kind of enjoyed the way that 2020, we saw the rollout of product where pretty much every month we had a new piece coming and something fresh and hot to talk about. Where in the past, you'd kind of talk newness probably a month after Basel, that would kind of fizzle away. I think it's a way for every brand to stay pertinent. And also, if you're into reading every watch blog and watching videos, there's new content coming out there every once in a while. It's not the same watch, the same thing coming out in different waves. So, um, obviously, if there is something going on in Switzerland, I think we're going to want to be a part of. But again, we could change our mind in the future. It also depends if these events share the same philosophy as Oris at the end of the day. And we're still working at becoming, we're still in the middle of our Change for the Better campaign, where we're still partnering up with these organizations trying to make a difference. And we'll be able to talk a lot more about that when we do the Dat Watt Limited Edition in the month of May. So don't want to give everything away today, but it's definitely shifting in the industry. Things are changing, but I think a lot of people expected to see Oris there, and we wanted to be there, so it just made sense.
Perfect. So I'll look forward to the next release. So for all those that are watching, stay tuned for our next Oris release. All right. Thanks, Mark,
Awesome.
for joining again.
Excellent. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
You too.